Reese here with Adore Her Beauty, back with another video, and I'm here doing another Hirsutism facial wax session. So this client may be a familiar face to some of you. We're going to call her Sko. So if you want to see Sko's very first ever facial wax session on my TikTok page, you can find all of her playlists from way long ago. So again, she's been a long time client, but she has not been in a long time. And so what happens when you don't come for a very long time, like months on months on months, it is like starting all the way over, even though you're familiar with getting a wax done. So what I'm doing here is cleansing her skin, and I will admit, I will say that I oversaturated her skin, and so you're going to see that later. So there's the talk that we had earlier today about powder on the skin and things of that nature. So what I'm doing right here is taking another clean gauze and drying off the skin, right? So I could have waited a little bit, let the skin air dry, or I could have went back over it with the gauze again. And that will prevent the wax from kind of bubbling up. So this is a good scenario. What you're going to see is a good illustration to show what happens when the skin is not completely dry. So what I'm doing here was just kind of feeling for the direction of hair growth, and I was stretching the skin out, and I automatically knew that I needed to go in with a reverse lay technique. So the reverse lay technique is where you are intentionally laying the wax in the opposite direction, and then you go back on top and lay the wax in the correct direction. So as you can see, like real close to her lip line, up toward that area, the wax was kind of not adhering. Well, that's what happened when you have moisture on the skin somewhere. It could be a combination of, and I really think it wasn't so much just the moisture, more so than I have oil on my gloves. So with me having oil on my gloves to keep the wax from sticking to my gloves, the oil will get on the client's skin, and then that will cause the wax to kind of bubble up and not adhere. But even still, like I pulled this strip, I added her pressure, and this is the strip. Even though the wax didn't adhere fully, it still got a great amount of hair. And if we're looking at her hair strip, you can definitely see her hair is coarse, it's dense, it's thick, and it's curly. And so this is the hair that's left behind. You can kind of see me trying to lift it with my finger to see exactly which direction it's growing in. Because although it looks uniform on sight, hair grows in layers, and those under layers are growing in a lot of different directions. So, that's why all of the hair will not come up in one fell swoop, because it's one, growing in multiple layers, and two, growing in different directions. And so when you have all of these factors in one scenario, you just have to know how to maneuver. So this is the close-up, and you can see exactly how close the hairs are growing to her skin. And this is the result of shaving. Once I see hairs looking like this, I know the client shaved in between their wax sessions, because waxing consistently is not going to cause the hairs to lay like this. When it started looking like fish scales and mermaid scales, I know they shaved. So what I'm doing here is just kind of taking the tweezers, going underneath the hair just to see if the hairs are really embedded, or is it because they're so close to the skin. And I determined that the hairs were not that embedded. They were just real close to the skin. And so I'm going in with the nullify wax and the reverse lay technique. So you will see me interchangeably use nullify and abrogate, because, I mean, look what it did. Look at the scales. Like, it looks like little scales of hair, just little C's all over. And here again, I'm figuring out which way the hair is growing, doing reverse lay technique to get on top and underneath those hairs, and just trying my best to get all the hairs up. So we're just going to talk about a few things that will make a session challenging. So one is definitely not following up with your sessions. At the longest, you should go 8 weeks. And at the 8 week mark, you're basically starting over as if you've never got a facial wax or any type of wax before. So I'd have my clients on like an incentive. If they book between 4 to 6 weeks, they get a discount. If it's anything beyond 6 weeks, 6 weeks in a day, 6 weeks in 5 days, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, they have to pay full price because now I'm doing the hard work all over again. This session should have taken 15, 20, 25 minutes, yet it took an hour because I was starting over, because the hairs are deeply embedded in the follicle, because they're connected to blood vessels, because the follicle, while it's not as strong, it's not weak as it should be with regular follow-ups. Now, I'm saying this because it's just facts, right? I'm not saying it in a way that like reprimands the client or to make the client feel bad or to shame them. It's not for that purpose. It's just to inform that consistency will get you easier results. Easier on you. You're not laying on the table as long. You're in and out. You could go about your day. The esthetician is not hurting their back or standing up on their feet longer than needed. And it's just better for everybody all around. So, but also, as a professional, as a mom, as a wife, as all these many hats that we wear, I understand that life will life. And so it could be financial, it could be time based, it could be just you're not in the mood. Sometimes, people get in a little funk where they just kind of don't put self-care first. So it's a lot of reasons why someone may not be as consistent. But then they snap back, they get back to themselves, they come back, and hey, it's open arms. It's like I just saw you yesterday when you walked back in the door. Is it a little bit more work? Yeah. But hey, let's get back on track. Let's get some encouragement. I'm happy to see you here. You leaving, you're going to be feeling good. And let's just get you to that point, and then I'll see you next month. But I'll say with Sco, she's probably she's probably gonna do the same thing again because she's a young new college grad, seeing the world, doing all kinds of things. So who knows when I will see Sco again? But when she comes back, I'll be excited. Like again, like I said in the live that I posted today, I wax my clients so consistently that I almost don't have anything to wax. So when I get sessions like this where there's actual hair, where it takes actual, depth of thought, and it's just fun. Like I love my job. I love my career. I love what I do. So while it's work, it's not work. You know what I'm saying? It's passion. So, but look at these strips though. These strips are telling. They are curly Q, little C's, little scales. And here I am going in the reverse leg. Again, you can see the hairs kind of standing up. That when you see that, that means you're going against the grain. And then taking that excess wax, pulling it back down, using real nice firm pressure. And let's get these hairs up. Let's get them up. So if you're a regular and you hear often, you're watching the videos, you're seeing the wax strips, what are some things that you are noticing about Sco's wax strips? So definitely leave your commentary in the comment section. Let's help educate one another. And look, her skin is really nice. Like in some of her past videos, her texture of her skin was really, really, really rough. But now it's not that bad. So this was the controversial section on today, right? So we had some opinions about this particular section. We had some opinions about this particular strip. And thank you so much for those who tuned in to this part of the video that was made into a little short. I think it got over 10,000 views. So definitely let's keep running the numbers up on that and helping spread awareness. But this is what I call the double lay technique. So I'm using nullified wax because I knew it would just, the grab power with nullify is amazing. It's already a pretty thick wax on its own with just one single strip. So two strips definitely got it looking like a shield. You can look. Oh my God. So when I pull it, it got such a good amount of hair. Is hair left behind? Yes. We even got pinpoint bleeding, which means those hairs were ripped from the bottom of the root. And so look at the strip. You can see that hair is growing in several different directions. And it was still able to pull up a huge amount of hair. I set it on her like, girl, this is a glory strip. Do you want that strip? I picked it back up and looked at it again because I was just in awe of how amazing that strip was. Like for a wax geek, for a person that is obsessed with the wax strips, that was an amazing strip. So of course now I'm going back in with another strip. And if you see, I'm going in the opposite direction that the first strip was in. At first, according to, the way this video is framed, I'm going from right to left, right? But at first I was going from top to bottom. So how was I going from top to bottom at first? Now I'm going from right to left. It's because the hairs are growing in different directions. And so for those who are saying I should have been able to get all of their hair up with one strip, you're not correct because the hairs are not growing in the same direction. And even though it did get a lot of hairs on that first strip, even though, even those hairs were growing in different directions, it was still going to be hairs left behind because, again, hair grows in layers. And it, listen, I would tell you no lie. That first wax strip was amazing for beard hair, for hormonal hair, for thick, coarse, deeply rooted hair, and for hair that's growing in different directions. And it was able to almost clear that area of her face. Get you some nullify when this restock happened. Okay, and we got a countdown about 3.5, 4 weeks. Get you some nullify. It can do Brazilians, it can do underarm, it can do. You are witnesses with your own eyes. So again, you will see me in certain areas go and follow back up with tweezing because you cannot compromise the skin. And that's another thing. You want to make sure with hard wax that you are doing no more than 2, at most 3, unless you are very familiar with the client's skin to push it beyond that. But 3 is the max. Because anything than that, you're breaking the skin down. With each strip, you're exfoliating. With each pull, you're pulling not only the hair, but a layer of dead skin. So 3 is the limit unless you are familiar with your client's skin. And again, laying in a totally different direction because that is the way her hair is growing. So what will cause the hair to grow in so many different ways? Shaving. Because most times when we shave, for those of us who have to shave or who once had a shave regimen, you just running the razor all across your face, up and down, left and right, against the grain, with the grain, and you just not really having much uniformity to it. And so then when the hair grows back, it grows back in the way it was removed. All kinds of crazy ways. Because when you're a woman with a beard, all you know is you don't want it. You don't care how you got to get rid of it. Just be gone. And so we're doing that continuously over a span of time. The hairs adapt to that. They grow in that way. Their follicles are distorted. And so that's what you get. Can you correct it? Yes, to a certain degree. You can correct it with consistent waxing. The wax will begin to cause those hairs to turn about, and you can get them to grow uniformity. And then also, waxing grows in cycles. So, I'm sorry, I said waxing grows in, y'all, it's late, y'all. Did I literally say waxing grows in cycles? Oh my Lord. Hair grows in cycles. And so it's late. Oh my gosh. And so when you're waxing, when you're pulling those hairs out of the follicle, it resets the hair growth cycle. And so with that, you're breaking down the hair over time. You're damaging the follicle over time. It's controlled damage. And so that will cause the hairs to grow back differently. When you're shaving, you're not able to do that because shaving only trims the hair at the surface level of the skin. Like it only can go beyond the surface level of the skin. But waxing will fully remove the hair from the follicle when done correctly. Anyway, y'all, it is so much education that can go with these videos. Like I can literally take this same video and teach something totally different. It's never enough time. So I am going to be having 2 wax courses come in the near future. One will be an online wax course that you can study at your own pace, and another will be an in-person right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana wax class with hands-on. You'll be doing modeling. You'll be partnering up with a fellow student for models. And we're going to do Brazilian waxing. We're going to do hirsutism. We're going to do eyebrow. We're going to do lower leg. And so those are some courses that are going to be coming up. But for those who are abroad and you want to learn, I'll be doing an online course coming up real soon. So definitely stay connected so you won't miss that. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. And definitely leave your comments and questions in the commentary box. Because I'm going to jump in that box and be talking to y'all. I'm going to be talking to you and you and you and you and whoever's listening. So this is the before and this is the after. And guess what? I don't care how we get to the finish line. We got there. So again, thank you so much. Reese Wright with Adore Her Beauty signing out.